this is Professor Leistico. Desiree Leistico, PhD. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, but I am here to go over the course syllabus with you. I'm teaching ACC Humanities, and that's all I'm teaching right now. I got a PhD in Humanities specifically. There are not a lot of institutions that give you PhD programs or that offer PhD programs specifically in the humanities. Most people come from different disciplines like language, English language arts, or art history. But some of us want to sort of study this all-encompassing humanities. Your first assignment explores what are the humanities. The humanities explore the arts, culture, science, philosophy, history. It doesn't necessarily need to actually take place in history, but we know when you're studying the humanities, you're looking at the way that everything is interconnected. So even if I wanted to look at a piece of modern art in the humanities, we always recognize that even modern art has a past. So you're always looking at the past, at the future, at science. These things are not isolated. There's a lot of science that goes into the way that art happens. We'll learn when we get to the Impressionists, for example, that first the camera comes in and there's no need to capture realistic looking images anymore because the camera can do that. So then what does the painting need to do? And then we learn more about the science of how eyes take in light and interpret it into images. Painters learn about that science and then apply that to their art. So we'll be learning about what art can tell us about the human condition, what science can tell us about art. It's sort of cyclical thing. How can we learn more about who we are as human beings, about the human story, through looking at human cultural works and works of thought, so ideas and art. So we will touch on science for sure, but we mostly focus on art and literature and architecture. So if you look, so this is not a science class or a math class, but we'll talk about it a little bit. So if you look through your book, this is an older edition of the textbook, so the one that you should be getting will look a little bit different. Let me see what's right here. I'm sorry, I tried to find it for you, and all I could find was my old edition. So it's the Humanistic Tradition by Gloria Fierro, and the old edition's fine too. It might be missing some stuff, but if you look through, you see all these wonderful full pages of art. So yeah, it's a lot of beautiful stuff to look at. I am currently taking classes and working on certification to teach K through 12 studio art. I wouldn't consider myself a strong artist, but I'm good at teaching it. I've taught creative writing before, and I feel like all of the creative works are well connected. One feeds the other. So if I have any artists in the class, great. If you're not really an artist, you don't think you're creative, the final project will tap into your creativity. I think that the best way to understand art is to try to do it yourself. So it'll be a collage. Don't be afraid. It's just cutting and pasting images together. So don't fear the need to have skill or technique. But we'll look at collages before we get to that point. That's the end. That's kind of what we're working at is for you to practice your own creativity in this class. And you might surprise yourself. So let's start with the syllabus. Finally, okay. On page 1, at the very top, you have information for how to reach me. I wouldn't call the phone number because it's not a phone that rings to me. It's a mailbox that they've assigned me on campus. So I might check that once in a blue moon, but I'll never hear it ring, so I'll never know that you're trying to reach me unless I remember to check it. I recommend email, and it even says this email is recommended. I answer emails usually more than once a day. I check email. Today our power went out, so I wasn't able to get on to check earlier than now. Not our power, our internet went out. So, things like that will happen to me too, and I may not be able to get back to you right away, but my standard turnaround is 24 hours, Monday through Thursday, and if you send the email on Friday, I might not be able to get back to you until Monday, depending on how late in the day you send it. After 5, I tend to stop working, and that's time for family and home time. My family consists of my husband and a bunch of fur babies, 3 cats and a dog, and one of the cats and the dog are senior pets. It's a lot to take care of. And I also really do protect my time. I work at ACC as an adjunct professor. That means that I've been there for 10 years, but it does mean temporary, so temporarily since 2010 at ACC. And it means that I get paid for the class, and I'm part-time. So I make an effort to make sure that I'm practicing work-life balance, and I think that that's really good for you all to think about in your future. When you're in school as a student, that almost vanishes. As my experience as a student all the way through grad school, from undergrad, it was mostly school. When the semester was on, I'm noticing that the light's kind of dirty. We need to replace all of the lights. We bought a foreclosed home, and I'm gonna keep looking at that. I'm just gonna tilt that a little more, so it's not in there anymore. And now you can see the chair that our cats go out. So, and our messy hutch, got a lot of cleaning to do. And anyway, here nor there. The other side's a little nicer because there's some artwork hanging up. I should have shot from that side. Anyway, so yeah, we all have our homes that we need to care for. Yeah, as a student, most of my time was spent in school, doing schoolwork and homework, and I didn't have very much time for a social life at all during a semester. During breaks, that was when I finally got to go out and dance and have fun. And back then, 6th Street was so different. It was still 6th Street, no 4th Street. There were things on 4th Street, but no one really went there. Everything happened on 6th Street, and you could park under I-35, and it was free to park there, but sometimes you'd have to tip a guy who would say he'd watch your car for you, just keep an eye on it for you, and give him a couple dollars. And then walk to downtown. Those were the good old days. Austin has changed quite a bit. I have lived here since I was 7. I said I was going to talk about the syllabus, and now I'm talking a little more about myself. We moved here from Brownsville, Texas when I was 7 years old with my mom and my sister. So I consider myself an Austinite through and through. I grew up here. Alright, let's go back to the syllabus. So send me an email. And like I said, after 5, I tend to wrap up. So I usually check my email around 5, depending on how my days goes. But I'll check it in the morning around 10 or so, and then a few more times throughout the day, and then one more time around 5, sometimes closer to 4. So sometimes a little earlier. But around 5, I'll check my email just to see if any of you have reached out to me and get back to you before the end of the day. So if you email me after 5, then you'll hear from me the next day. It's usually the way that works. Unless it's a Friday, and then you'll hear from me on Monday. I don't work during the weekend. So, with the exception of sometimes I need to get grading done, so sometimes I will. So the Sunday due dates, I will remind you about those on Thursday or Friday. I'll be like, hey, this is also going to be due Sunday. So I do send regular announcements during the week, but during the weekend you won't hear from me, so make sure you're checking the course calendar, and make sure that when you do send me an email over the weekend, just to kind of be patient and trust that I will get back, know that I will get back to you on Monday. So here's the deal. If I don't get back to you within 24 hours, Monday through Thursday, actually it's more like Sunday, because if you email me Sunday, I'll get back to you on Monday. So Sunday through Thursday, 24 hours, and then Friday through Friday and Saturday, give me 2 days, give me till Monday. If you don't hear back from me, send another email to me, and make sure that you're sending it from your ACC account and not Blackboard, because sometimes that doesn't go to me. And make sure that you're not replying to the class email, because those can get lost. If I send you an email from the class, and if you just reply to that, it doesn't always work. So send me a new email that you start in your inbox, address it to me. My email address is right here, and then include in the subject line it doesn't have to be humanities spelled out, HUMA 1302, which kind of reminds me, hello, this class is Humanities 1302, or Humanities 2, Renaissance to the present. Although the book doesn't go all the way to today, 2020, and I think that a lot of you might agree that 2020 could probably have, at least the 3 or 4 chapters of its own, but it's a bit of an exaggeration. I think there are many decades or even years that people felt while they were living in that time could constitute an entire textbook. So we're not really unique. We do have a lot going on right now, but it's not the only time that things have seemed to be changing, in so much chaos and political turmoil happening in the world that people felt that year was, this has definitely happened, and we'll encounter it. The Industrial Revolution, for example, so much changed so fast. So it's not really unique, but we don't come all the way up to today. But I would really love to see you guys tie things in to today when we're doing discussions and journals and things like that. Okay, so today's the first day of class. Happy Monday. Send me an email, and if you don't hear back from me within a day or on the weekends by Monday, do send me another email just to make sure that I get it. And like I said, make sure you send it through your ACC Gmail account, and that the subject line is correct, and it's a new message, and that you have my email address correct. And if that fails, and you've done it and you still don't hear from me, then go ahead and call that phone number, or you can post to Forum 1 and say, hey, can't reach the professor, what's going on. I've not had that happen. The times that students send emails to me and I don't receive them are either because they got bundled into a reply to a class announcement I sent, or more often because they sent the email using the Blackboard email tool, which for whatever reason doesn't seem to work properly. So we shouldn't have a problem. I am also available. My office hours are Tuesdays from 3 to 4, where you'll be able to email me and get an immediate response. Or we could, if you were like, hey, I really need to talk to you, I can set up a Meet chat where we can actually talk to each other. So, and anytime that you feel like you want to talk to me, we'll set up a chat through Meet. So just send me an email and say, hey, I need to talk to you. And it helps me if you can say, I have this time, and this time. So you could be like, I'm not available during your office hours, but I am available Tuesday at 5 or 6. And I typically don't work after 5, but if someone reaches out to me and they're like, I work 9 to 5, I need to talk to you after 5, I will work you in, okay? So please let me know what you need, because I am here to help you. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. I'm not going to read the whole syllabus to you. I want to talk about the syllabus and its contents, though, for a second. So all of this kind of like, what is the course about? These are the things that we want you to learn from the course, and that's like 2 pages. These are outcomes, and page 1 is outcomes, page 2 more outcomes. So pretty much all the reading, the assignments, everything I give you is tied to these outcomes, if that's something that interests you. It's more administrative, but we want you to see it as well. And then this is your book. You need to have a good internet connection, and then this is your book. This one. which is an older edition. I'm holding it upside down, so it's not going to look like this. It will look a little bit different unless you get the older edition, which is also fine. This class is entirely online, so it's this part right here. You don't need to go to the campus for anything. Campus is closed, so you can't go to the campus for anything, but all of my online classes are all online. I don't usually do videos like this for my online classes, but I understand that some of you are in this class because you have to be because of COVID-19. You would rather be in the classroom perhaps, but you have to take it online because of the restrictions. And so I get that a lot of you may not be comfortable with this mode of learning, and so I'm making these videos to kind of a little extra for the students who are not so comfortable with online learning. I told myself that I wasn't going to say that in the video, but then I went ahead and said it anyway. So yeah, so this is kind of like here's how the class goes down. A little bit of stuff about distance learning on page 2 at the bottom, and there's a link for you to look at, hey, am I prepared for this? So check that out if you need some help. I've also got a lot of links in Blackboard to help you out too. Page 3 of the syllabus goes over, okay, so this is the bottom of, page 3 of the syllabus has all the assignments, just a really brief blurb. They are described in much greater detail in Blackboard under assignments. I'm trying to hide the mess behind me. So, but this is kind of these are the things we're going to be doing in this class. And if you look at it, you will see that there are no exams. Some people like exams, some people hate them. There's an essay, there are 2 presentations, some journals, like in forums, and there are quizzes. The quizzes cover the films that I want you to watch, and it's just like fill in the blanks so that I can see that you watched the films and take away the main ideas of the film. So when you see a film coming, make sure you block out some time to watch those for the quizzes. And here it says there are 4 quizzes, and that's going to be the reading quizzes plus the orientation quiz. So at the bottom of page 3, this is how your grades broken down. In Blackboard, if you click on syllabus and then the top of page 4, if you click on syllabus, I have this bit taken out and put into syllabus highlights so that if you ever want to go back and look at it really quickly, you can see it, you can access it more quickly. So yeah, so then there's this stuff about attendance. It's an online class, but I do need you to do the orientation quiz in order to report that you've attended for financial aid purposes, so please get that done as soon as you can so that I can say, hey, everyone's attended, yay. And then this talks about withdrawals. I'm not going to drop you from this class. If you're failing and you want to drop, you need to do that. If you need my help, then we'll talk about it. You need to email me and say, hey, I want to drop, I don't know how, help me out. And I'll help you, but I won't just drop you. You will be dropped automatically if you don't do your orientation quiz or reach out to me about it in time for when I report for financial aid purposes. I have to certify attendance. And I don't know the date for that exactly, but I'll definitely let y'all know when I remind you tomorrow to do the orientation quiz. I'll let you know when I need to hear from you by, but tomorrow is when it's due, so please do it tomorrow. Tomorrow being Tuesday, today is Monday, the October 19th. So by October 20th, I need that in, the orientation quiz, by the end of the day. So one thing that's different about, I do things a little differently, and it starts on the bottom of page 4, is my late work policy. So that's also taken out and put in syllabus highlights in Blackboard. There are 2 types of late work. Late work and makeup work. So makeup work doesn't have a limit. I'm going to talk about that first, even though it's listed. There's not a limit to it, but you do need to tell me that what happened, why. It needs to be an excused reason, which would be a death or illness, serious illness of a spouse. I'm reading the syllabus here. A spouse, sibling, child, pet. I might need documentation. So like, pet's not in here, but I consider pet to be a close family member. I know that for some people it can be really devastating and it can take a lot, and so it's not really technically in here, but just so you know, if you tell me your dog had to go to the emergency vet, I'm gonna count that as a reason to let you do your work late as makeup work. And then anything, so this 2020 update in here, any emergency that had anything related to COVID-19, shelter in place, directly or indirectly. So like if because of COVID-19, because if something else goes wrong and you suddenly find that you have to, your shift got changed at work and you reach out to me and say, hey, because of coronavirus, they changed my shift at work and now I didn't expect it, whatever, or if someone you know gets it, or you, any kind of, if it's just anxiety about it, just let me know, and that's makeup work. Late work, I don't need to know why. It helps if you let me know you're doing it late so I don't put a 0 in the grade book. But I don't really need any reasons, but you only get 3 of them. So throughout the whole semester, you can turn in 3 assignments late, no questions, no nothing. I do not penalize late work or makeup work. There's no letter grade penalty. You just get to do 3 of them, that's it. And if it's makeup work, you might need to send me some documentation. You need to. I prefer that you send me documentation. There are some instances where I don't ask for it. It just really, but most of the time, I'm gonna ask you, hey, can you send me a picture of the invoice from the vet or the invoice from the emergency room or whatever it is that you're doing. If someone dies, I don't ask for proof. I just feel like that's tacky. So other than that though, if it's a medical visit or if like you're, if you've missed a lot and I might have to ask you even if someone dies for my records, just to kind of show that I'm working, because this syllabus and the late work policy, they don't just bind you, they're binding for me as well. I need to follow my own rules. I can't say, I don't like someone, so no, you can't do any late work, or you have to get it within 3 days, and I can't say, well, I really like you, you can have 14 days. I can't do that. Like, it's got to be the same for everyone. So I may need to ask you for documentation, so just be ready for that if you've got to do makeup work. So there's a 7-day grace period, whether it's late work or makeup work, no penalty. Makeup work, you do need to let me know what's going on. The sooner the better. Late work, you don't need to tell me what's going on, just let me know you're going to turn it in late. You have 7 days. You get to do that 3 times. No limit to makeup work, but you will need to provide documentation. If you're asking me more than once, you will definitely need to give me documentation. If you're asking me once, sometimes I don't. I just trust you, believe you. But the second or third time, I'm like, I need proof now, and just for my own personal records and to help me show that I am abiding by my own policies. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I want to be. I don't like to be such a stickler, but I've got some. I can't be too easygoing either. I've got to have some guidelines. All right, so yeah, so this will tell you all, page 4 and 5, really go over what do you need to do for late work. And if you forget to email me, like, hey, the assignment's due on the 20th, but I couldn't for whatever reason, and now it's the 21st. What do I do? Well, really, as long as the assignment's still within the 7-day grace period and you haven't used up your 3 chances to do it, your 3 late work credits, you can turn it in. You can say, hey, I'm turning this in, and if I gave you a 0 and you can't open it and it's still within 7 days and you still have, then you'll need to email me and say, I can't open it and I want to submit it, and then I'll go in and open it for you. And if you're really up on that limit, like it was due 7 days ago and it's almost midnight, then you need to send me your work, and I will timestamp it when it comes to the email, but I don't take work through email. I will timestamp it with email, but I won't accept it through email. I'll have to go and open it up in Blackboard and you'll submit it in there, but we'll use the time that it came to me in email. All of these are edge cases, so I don't know why I'm going into them. I guess I'm trying to anticipate questions that might come up. I don't typically do incompletes, but if you have a serious emergency, I will work with you. Typically I don't, because I am employed part-time from semester to semester, and it's really hard for me to know if I'll be available to work with you in the future on those, so I tend to avoid them. On page 6, it talks about problem resolution. Please email me, and if you want to talk to me, just let me know, hey, I need to talk. If you ever need to work out anything, if you're confused, if you don't like a grade I gave you and you want to know why and you don't understand my comments, if you have a problem with a classmate, let me know and I will work with you. But if something, for whatever reason, happens and we can't work together, the information from my supervisor is on page 6, and it's right there. His name is Grant Potts, and you can send him an email or call him, and he actually has an office with a phone, although I don't know if he's in there with the campuses being closed. I don't know that he'll be in there very often. So you can give him a holler if you need him. Hopefully you don't. It rarely happens. I'm hoping that we can work it out. Okay, so then from page 6 to, let's see, page 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, college policies. So just look over these. Like, you're supposed to use ACC email. Guns are allowed on campus now, but you got to keep them concealed. And there's a video you should watch, safety statement. If you had a disability or a learning disability and you need extra anything, time on test, mean to not count against grammar, things like that, you need to go to the Student Accessibility Services, and that's outlined on page 7. They'll send me a form telling me what to do, and I will obey. And then the testing center we're not going to be using, so it doesn't matter, but I had to put it in here anyway because of legal stuff. And there is a student services division on ACC, and I recommend that you check it out because they got a lot of good stuff for you. There's a new statement. There's a new thing. There's Senate Bill 212, and you'll see on the bottom of page 9. I cannot hold your confidentiality. Excuse me. I am not a confident person to talk to, I guess. If, like, your grade is between us. I don't know about your grade unless you take it up the chain, and then I have to tell my supervisor and whatnot. But your grade is between us, unless you're in a high school class, and then you guys will. I don't know if I have any early college high schools, but if I do, yes, I taught early college high school before. I love it. You guys are great. If I don't, college, y'all are great too. I love teaching. Just love humanities and anyone who wants to learn about them. But if you are in early college high school, someone will probably reach out to me asking me for your grade, and I have to report that too. But otherwise, your grade's between us. I don't tell anyone that. It's on Blackboard. But if you come to me and tell me, let's see, let me read this just to make sure I get it exactly right. I am required to report for further investigation any information concerning incidents of sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking committed by or against an ACC student or employee. So as an ACC student, if you tell me that you are either a victim of, I don't like that word, victim, but that behavior or doing that behavior, I am legally obligated to report that. So just keep that in mind if you want to talk to me, that I have to report that stuff. So state law. If you need to talk to someone about that stuff and you don't want it to be reported, there are counselors that are available to you for free. Well, you paid for them with your student services fees through ACC. So you could say, hey, Professor Lystico, I need to talk to someone. Can you give me the information to get a counselor because I can't find it? And I will send you that link as fast as I can. But I'm not the person to talk to for that if you want it to remain confidential. So I feel like that's really important to say. And then on page 10, there actually is a link to the counseling services. All right, so that's out of the way. And I think those are the main things. Let me know if you have any questions. You do need to know all the information in this big old document, 9 pages long. It's 12 pages with the course calendar. The course calendar is right here, and it's divided by week. And you'll notice when you look at it that assignments, let's see what I'm talking about, are due on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You may submit your work ahead of time. In fact, I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to print it out like I've done this one. Have a printout of it, or if you don't have a printer, or if you're not like me and you don't use paper, because I don't really use my digital calendar, I have a paper calendar, then I would take these due dates and like, okay, I've got Forum 1 and Quiz 1 due on Thursday, October 22nd. I would put that in my Google Calendar or whatever online app calendar kind of thing you've got. I would go in and put all these in my other calendar, and I would put them in a day earlier. So I would put them in for Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. That gives you a little cushion so that if something goes wrong, like for me today, my internet going down, I don't have to freak out. I've got a whole day that I cushioned in there, and I'm getting all my work in earlier, and you are completely allowed to get your work done early, with the exception of sometimes group work or potentially class discussions, class forums. You can't really reply to your classmates until they got their work in. So you can still do it a little early, at least a day early, but sometimes not much more than that, because this is an 8-week class and not a 16-week class, so our pacing is going to be much quicker. We are going to go through an entire 16 weeks of material in 8 weeks. So I've also made a link to the calendar in Blackboard. So this is attached to your syllabus, but then there's a link that says quick access to the calendar, and you can open that up in Blackboard really quickly and look at it any time. So for Tuesday, which is tomorrow, you gotta look at your syllabus. I encourage you to get your book now, or as soon as you can. If you haven't already bought it, buy it now. It says on Tuesday, but I'm saying buy it today if you're watching this on Monday. And then go through the orientation and do the orientation quiz by tomorrow. When you have, so then Thursday, it says watch a film and read this article. So when I say to watch a film or read something, you should do it by that day. Technically, you could do it on that day because the assignment's not due till 11:59 p.m. But just do this, and then you're going to be doing the work that's kind of connected to the reading. And then you're going to have chapters 19 and 20, so you'll need the book to start reading by Sunday this weekend. If you don't have your book, then by Sunday, there's no assignment connected to your reading until Tuesday with Forum 2. But you're going to get a little behind, and I don't want you to get behind. I want you to be able to keep up. So hopefully you get your book before Sunday, and if you don't, it's not a big deal. If you get it by Tuesday, you'll have a chance to catch up in the reading. And you'll see that the reading and viewing and stuff is listed in this column, and then the assignments are typically listed in this column. Same with the next page. Am I holding it right side up? Like for me, I'm seeing this all Blackboard, but I think that the camera's converting that for you. I hope. Otherwise, you're also looking at this backwards. So yeah, the assignments that are going to be due, and then the reading or viewing. Like this is a bunch of videos that are in Blackboard, and it can all be found in Blackboard. If I made a mistake and put like the 21st or the 19th, well, it's on Tuesday, so that's the 20th. So just kind of use the days. We have a pattern. It's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I will send email reminders to you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is late. Like you shouldn't rely on those reminders, but I hope sometimes they do help. And so yeah, you should hopefully be doing your work before I remind you, but if you don't, then maybe the reminder saved you. And it just, for me, I think the reminders help you realize, help you confirm that you're on track and doing what you're supposed to be doing. And maybe sometimes save someone who completely forgot about a thing. Sometimes my reminders come out a little late at night. I try to get them in earlier in the day, but every now and then I don't get around to it till later. So you will be hearing from me on a very regular basis. This is 34 minutes long, so that's a lot longer than I meant to go on and on about the syllabus. Usually I think I'm a bit quicker because then, like in class, then there's time for me to say, well, are there any questions? And I also give you time to look over it yourself. Yeah, I'm like saying a lot and like a lot. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email, please. And don't reply to the email that I'm sending this video to you with. Instead, when you're in ACC Gmail, go to new message and type my email address in there and put in the subject HEMA 1302. This is my only 1302 class, so I'll know it's you. And then just kind of let me know what you got for a question, and I'll get back to you by tomorrow, by the next day, like I said, unless it's Friday, and then you'll hear from me on Monday. Thank you. Take care. I'm really looking forward to working with you all this semester, and I hope to hear from you.